That was nasty. Speaking of nasty, watch this. As Dwight Howard and Anthony Davis are leaving the court during a timeout, they get to the sideline, and all of a sudden this happens. Oh, we've got words. We've got strong grips. Emotions running high. There's frustration. Obviously, now they're talking it out a little more like men should talk it out. Teammates. All right, so let's go to the third quarter. Suns up 15. Ayton. Denied. Booker knocks that down. Booker finished with 22. Suns up 18, and it would get worse. Way worse. Booker. Oh, 2 fakes and 1. Oh, is he rocking it to sleep already? We're just in the third quarter. But that's exactly what the Suns did. Pull up there again. He had 11 points in the quarter. Kendall Jenner in the building. Suns up 80-55. And then JaVale McGee, former Laker. The Suns were up 32 at one point. They win it by 10. Wow. Magic Johnson. He went to Twitter right after this game, and this is what he said. Dwight Howard and AD got into a physical altercation on the bench. In my 42 years of being associated with the Lakers organization, I've never seen something like that. Shaking my head. So Madge, not happy with what he saw, but what exactly happened? Here's Dwight Howard.
Squash it right there. We just had a disagreement about something that was on the floor. We both very passionate about women. We didn't want to lose this game, so we both were just being passionate. We got it out the way. We grown men, things happen. But we are going to talk. Squash, there's no issue between me and him. And that's my brother. That's my teammate. That's what I told him. So I'm always be here for him, no matter what. I'm always fighting for him, do whatever I can to help this team win. He said the same thing. So we're good. We squashed it. There's no need to try to make it bigger than something else.
We knew the margin for error was going to be slim, we're just disappointed that we're not winning. That's all. We still have a strong belief in who we can be and a lot of moves that we can make to get things going in the right direction. But the frustration just around not winning the game. These are some of the greatest players ever to play because of their competitive spirit. So if you don't win, there's going to be frustration.
All right, little known fact, guys get into scuffles all the time, every season, every team. You typically don't see it in the game on the bench, though. That's why that one stood out. But also what stood out in this game, the Suns dominated.
We're so glad to have you here, Magic. Thank you so much for being here.
And congratulations to you and Perk and Zach. Shanae, who I know so well. I'm her boss with the smarts.
Very true. I'm on good behavior today. Yeah,
like Blitz, and I love it.
Exactly. So Magic, you were selected to the NBA's top 75. You made it. What was your reaction when you found out about this accomplishment, and how does it stack up with everything else in your career?
I think, you know that God has blessed you, put you in this position, and to be listen, I just wanted to play in the NBA. You never think that you'd be one of the top 75. You just wanted to accomplish your goal and dream, which is play in the NBA and win a championship. And so to be named in the top 75 is tremendous. I don't take it lightly, but I think it's great for my parents, my wife, my kids, and then also the Laker fans.
Yeah, well, speaking of Lakers, we're going to get back to more on the top 75 later, but we're going to also talk about the game last night at Staples Center. So it was opening night in the NBA, and LeBron James and the new-look Lakers are hosting Steph Curry and the Warriors. So we pick up things in the third quarter. The Lakers, there we go, a game-high 34 points, and the Lakers are leading by 2 heading into the fourth quarter.
I'm so jealous. We're the same age.
Look at this. Jordan Poole, though, who's not the same age, bang, straightaway 3. He hits it. Poole had 20 points. So with just over 9 minutes left, Russell Westbrook, he drives to the hoop, but is called for the charge here. So Russell, he struggled all night. He finished with just 8 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. So later in the fourth, Golden State up 2. Curry pulls up off the screen. Guys, that's money every single time. He had a quiet triple-double.
Yeah, Melo, you got to get up.
So under 3 minutes to play. Here we go. Nemanja Bjelica kicks it out to Andrew Wiggins, drives, 3-pointer. Golden State, their bench loves it. Curry gets a bath from some water bottles coming up here. The Lakers fall 121 to 114. So I was in the building last night, and I spoke with a source in the Lakers front office, and they preached the value of patience, guys. It's bumpy early. So, Magic, what are the keys for the Lakers to make this all fit?
Well, first of all, I think you're right. Patience, number one. Number two, we got to remember what happened last night. Okay, for 3 quarters, the Lakers played pretty good, right? LeBron and AD, they played like the superstars that they are. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They just didn't get the help, right? And it was really in the fourth quarter that's when Golden State actually took advantage and played faster than the Lakers. Westbrook struggled because he was in first gear the whole game. To me, LeBron played faster than Russell did. He's got to play fast to be effective. And he was just in that
sauntering.
Yes, and I think he was nervous first game in the Lakers uniform, young man from LA.
Yeah.
But he's going to have to find, how do I play with these other 2 superstars? Because they're going to need his point production. And let's give Golden State a lot of credit. Those young guys, without Steph, because Steph was on the bench in the fourth quarter when they made their run. And they got some guys who can come in and fill it up. We saw Poole. We saw, Porter. These guys coming in, they got a great bench. And I will say this, when Clay gets back and that young center gets back,
James Wiseman,
they're going to be the team with the Lakers. I think that's the Western Conference Championship right there.
Western Conference Championship.
Them too.
I absolutely agree with Magic. And here's the thing, right? Me watching the game last night, and I always harp on this. You have to take preseason seriously,
yeah.
Right? And when you look at Golden State and what they did in preseason, they went undefeated. They gave them the new guys an opportunity to get implemented into the system. That's why Jordan Poole was comfortable out there. That's why other guys that, Iguodala and them was back into the system. You saw them cutting. You saw they had 31 assists, right? They were passing the ball around like the collection plate at First Tree Baptist Church. But then when you go back and look at the Lakers, on the other hand, they took preseason for granted.
Yeah.
Guys were taking time off. They wasn't building that chemistry. And when you're trying to win a championship, it starts from day one. Now, I do want to address the issue for us with Russell Westbrook. I hear all the nonsense saying it won't work. Some people saying bring him off the bench, and that's just flat out ridiculous. Here's the thing that's going on with Russ, right? Russell Westbrook is back home in Los Angeles, California.
Yep.
One of the biggest markets, one of the most, historical franchises in sports, right? And so what happened is that people don't realize with a basketball player, it's so much to deal with coming home. Not just on the court, off the court. You got family, you got friends, you got things that you're doing in the community. You got commercials that you're doing. That's why I always gave credit to guys like Magic, guys like Kobe, guys like Shaq to be able to live the LA lifestyle, adapt, and put their work in. And I think Russell Westbrook just has to turn the page in that corner and make sure he says, you know what? I'm going to block out everything else that's going on that's not basketball related and let me lock into the season.
So on the other side of all of this, Zach, we have the Warriors. They had an impressive showing last night. What's the ceiling for them this season? We just heard Magic say that it could be the conference finals.
I think the ceiling for them is higher than that. I think they could make the finals. Again, a lot of that comes down to Clay, and Clay's got to be 85, 90% of what Clay used to be. But I was high on this team going into the season, hit the over hard. Perk and I talked about it yesterday. Look, there's power, and you saw it last night, of a team that knows who they are. They know how they want to play. They have a style that is really unique to them, and it's not easy to play against when Steph is running around like that. Jordan Poole's like a mini Steph running around like that. They surrounded them with good passers, good cutters, selfless players, and there's just a lot to be said for, like Perk said, you walk in opening day, we know exactly who we are. We don't need to sort anything out. We have a style. It's us, and you saw it the last 25 or 30 games of last year. They rediscovered what Warriors basketball is. Are they the best team in the West? No. Are they the favorites? No. We don't know about Clay, but they're going to be a problem if Clay comes back and looks good.
Well, they had their anniversary. I mean, it's a decade milestone. Steph, Clay, and Draymond, they've all played for 10 years together.
Yeah.
And even there, you still know that this is our core, this is our identity. We want to run and gun, but we want to be smart. And I think you saw a team in the Warriors that knew how to play fast and move the ball versus the Lakers, who are trying to figure that out, especially with Russell Westbrook.
Well, Perk touched on it. Too much standing. In the fourth quarter, it was here, you take it, you go. You can't do that against the Warriors. We got to move bodies, move the ball. And then also, too, they got to figure out who's going to close it, right? Who's going to close the game? Because, see, now you add that other superstar.
Yeah.
It's not easy. In other years, last year, we knew LeBron knew where he was going to get his shots. AD knew where he was going to get his shots. Now we add Russell, so they're trying to figure out, okay, are you going to take it now? Are you going to take it now? And so I think we got to give the Lakers a chance. It's going to be a month, 2 months before they really figure it out. Now they also have to make sure that Avery Bradley, I think he's a key. Put him in there because
they did last. You saw what they did.
But
Frank,
too late.
But I thought Frank Vogel should have rolled with that lineup.
He
went with Avery Bradley, Braun, Russ, and then he threw in Rondo and he subbed Russell Westbrook out. And I said, this it. They started making a run because those guys are familiar with playing with one another.
Well, it was a little bit surprising to see Avery Bradley so soon. I was like, oh, he's coming to the game after they just picked him up like that. Oh, hey, he's there. We're going to get back to this because clearly there is so much to break down here. But let's get back to the selection of the 75 Magic. We're going to highlight some of your fellow Lakers great. Your longtime running mate, James Worthy. Three-time champion. We have Wilt Chamberlain makes the list and Jerry West, the logo. What do you think, Magic?
Well, I played with James Worthy. I want to say this. Dr. J was a beautiful basketball player that we all admire. James Worthy was beautiful to watch, too. He could get on that wing and put it in that one hand and dunk on you. He could pass. He could defend.
It look easy.
Jerry West, I mean, what can you say? I mean, Jerry means so much to basketball. That was easy as well. And Wilt Chamberlain, him and Shaq, probably the two most dominant big men we ever seen in the league, right? And so I'm so happy that these Lakers, but also everybody else too, because there's a lot of great players who made the list, and there'll be a lot of great players who don't make the list.
Yes, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. I'm a little curious. We were discussing before the show, who's going to have more, the current Nets or the current Lakers in terms of this all-time great list? It's interesting to think about, right?
The current who?
The current Nets or the current Lakers?
Who?
Oh my God. I need you to stick around, but I want to go like this. We need you to stick around because we need your thoughts.
They got to slip one of them on first. No, that ain't no old man's act. That's for real. You got to slip one of them on first before we start talking about that.
Maybe a couple of them.
The good news is we're going to get into all of that, but Magic, we need you to stick around because we need your thoughts on